take care of her father who is currently sick.
All right.
Sir?
All right. So my question is, are you taking care of
No,
him?
ma'am.
That was a misstatement on my part, Judge. I guess I mean to spend time with him while she can.
All right. So, all right. So why are you playing games with me?
How would you feel if 5 men took you from your office, locked you in the back of an office, and wouldn't let you leave, wouldn't let you make a phone call, and wouldn't let you do anything until you signed a paper?
Disability isn't always what it seems in the courtroom. These are the top 5 defendants who tried to use disability as a shield in Judge Boyd's court.
Court is going to sentence you to 8 years in the prison.
Judge, did you say 8 or 18?
18. Okay. Yeah.
Just make sure.
All right. Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
We would ask for the court to follow the agreement. She is willing to do the probation. She is not currently employed, but she's seeking employment. She does have call center experience. She's hoping to get another work from home job at a call center and to help take care of her father who is currently sick.
All right. So I have a question for you. You say you're taking care of your father. Is that correct?
Um, not really. He's actually has cancer, so he's dying of cancer already.
I'm sorry, what?
He's dying of cancer. He has stage 4 liver cancer.
All right. So my question is, are you taking care of
No,
him?
ma'am.
That was a misstatement on my part, Judge. I guess I mean to spend time with him while she can.
All right. So here's the other question. When's the last time you had employment?
Last year at Speedy's Exchange. What Speedy Exchange? Yes.
Doing what?
Call center, telephone representative.
All right. Why do you continue to steal?
Because I haven't been able to get a job due to my
No.
felonies, my history. But I'm still seeking for employment, ma'am.
No, this is not the first time you're stealing. I'm trying to figure out your go-to is stealing. What if everybody who didn't have a job decided to steal?
Um,
So you have prior theft cases, and they were all state jail felonies. So why do you continue to steal? And according to this, you've been stealing since 2014, and you just want to stop stealing. So you're stealing and you're using drugs. Why is this?
well, the past, yes, my last ones, yes, ma'am. I was an addict. I'm no longer using. I've been sober for quite a couple of years already. I did have a fallback to say, that one time with this recent case that I have. But I haven't picked up a charge since 2013 for theft.
No,
I've been,
not since 2013, because you have this and this is from 2023.
right. That was the most recent one. Yes, ma'am.
So
But
why do you keep
prior,
stealing? It's still not answering my question. I don't understand.
I was going through some personal issues at the moment with my kids,
With what?
with my kids being taken away.
Okay.
So I went to what I knew best.
But your children, were they taken away because you were using drugs?
No, ma'am, for allegations.
What allegations?
Um, of um of using drugs and then not um like using drugs basically.
All right, for using drugs. So when were they taken away from you?
That's
And who are they staying with?
they're they've been adopted.
All right. So your rights were terminated. So here's my question. And you know yourself better than I know you, better than your attorney knows you. Do you really think you're going to do well at this probation? Because you had a choice to do what you needed to do and have custody of your children, and you chose to commit thefts and continue to use.
Yes, ma'am, because I didn't get my children back, but
I'm sorry, what?
yes, I do. I feel like the probation was me right. I will do my complete probation. I've completed probation before successfully. Again, I had a tip, I'm not trying to go back to that lifestyle. I'm just trying to do right, but times are hard.
And if you're drug tested today, and you will be, what is the results going to be?
Um,
Tell the truth.
I'll be about marijuana.
And what else?
Marijuana.
So you're telling me when you drug tested today, you're only going to be positive for marijuana? So if I send you across the hallway to get drug tested, I mean, that can happen today. And you're saying it's just going to be marijuana. All right. We can have a drug test done. Is there anything you want to say before I send you to go do your drug test? All right. So I'm going to find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. We're going to recall this for tomorrow. She's going to do a drug test today.
You can tell her that.
I'm sorry, not tomorrow. We're going to, is there something she wants to say?
There is, yeah.
Oh, what would you wish to say to the court? I'm sorry, what? And what would that be? All right, so why are you playing games with me? Well, no, that means you were dishonest with the court. I asked you, what would you be positive for? You said marijuana, nothing else. I told you I could send you right across the hallway to get drug tested. And you said, please do. You know, send me. I'm not going to be positive for anything else. So now you're telling me it's going to be meth. When's the last time you used meth? All right. And what else? All right. And who are you living with?
Currently, with my grandmother.
And how many children does she have living with her other than you?
No.
So if probation goes out there at that house, you're going to tell me that there are not going to be any minors at that house. So who all is in the house?
So it's just myself and my husband.
I'm sorry, who?
Myself and my husband.
At your grandmother's house?
My grandmother's deceased. She passed away last year in December. But it's her house. We were staying there at her house. It's her property.
So I'm confused. She said she's living with her grandmother.
No, she's living at her grandmother's house.
No, beforehand, she's like, I'm living with my grandmother. So now she's staying at her grandmother's house. And it's just her and her husband at her grandmother's house.
Yeah, I guess I missed the part where she said she was staying with her grandmother.
Okay.
I didn't hear that part. I just heard grandmother's house. But...
So it's just you and your husband at your grandmother's house. And there are no children at that location. And how often is he using? Okay, usually when people use, the people they're with usually use. All right, I'm gonna place you on probation, but I'm telling you right now, probation is gonna make visits at that location. Do you understand? All right. Court is gonna sentence you to 2 years in the state jail facility, suspended and probated for 4 years. Taking consideration AL 218-1212. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular random UAs. There's going to be a TAP evaluation, follow all TAP recommendations. There's to be proof of employment within 45 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There's to be no contact with Walmarts, and that means any Walmart. There's to be no contact with Andrea Macedo, the MRT, CATS 1 and CATS 2. Field visits 1 time per month for 6 months. We can do a referral to felony drug court. You need to make sure you make all of those appointments to felony drug court. There's to be 100 hours of community service restitution and 120 sober meetings in 120 days. Probation, is there anything else she needs? Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful? Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right. Good luck to you in this court. To be successful on probation, communication is key. Do you have any children?
Adults.
All right. Are you employed?
I can't work. I'm disabled.
And what's your disability?
A whole list of them, a bunch of autoimmune disorders, low scoliosis, spinal disorders, undifferentiated connective tissue disease, bunch of arthritises, I have a whole slew of disorders. They're listed in the paperwork. Recently being cheated on, and so I have no income now, and all sorts of other fun stuff.
All right. So how do you support yourself?
Working on that now. My mom lives with me and I take care of her. She's a heart transplant recipient, and so that's the income in the house right now.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot going on right now.
Oh, yes, it is a lot. But how are you taking care of your mom?
She's a heart transplant recipient and she's bedridden, and so I change her diaper, feed her, run her on her doctor's appointments and errands as best I can. And my son, who's mentally handicapped, he's got DID, bipolar, and so I keep his friends in his head in check because I'm a psych major. So I help him, and then he helps me around the house and helps with my mom. We kind of have a triangle thing going.
All right. So what I can tell you is people who are on probation in my court, I don't allow them to be home health care providers.
Well, I'm not her physical, technical home health provider, but I mean, I'm her only help, like unofficial help. She lives with me, and I mean, I have to take care of her. She's my mom. I'm her only person. That's why I'm doing this instead of going to trial.
I mean, no, here's the thing. If you want a jury trial, you can. But let me just explain something to you. What I've read in the stipulations is that you admitted to the owners of taking the money.
And I only did that under duress because they locked me in a room and would not.
Oh, well, here's the thing. If you want a jury trial,
I don't, ma'am.
Because
I don't.
All right, let me explain something to you. Because what I read in the stipulations is money went to Green Dot Bank account.
And it's not. It's a Stash card. I had a bank, a regular bank, which is Techstar Bank, and then I had a Stash account, which I actually had. What do you call it? You could even do. Sorry, I get brain fog because of all the autoimmune, but it was an actual bank card, and I didn't know it was Green Dot or whatever. It's actually owned by another company now, but it's actual a bank. And
all right, so here's the thing. Monticello Homes, that organization, the people who work for that organization and own it, they say that $800 was going into TxDOT, whatever card, but it wasn't their card. It wasn't for their employee. It wasn't for anything associated with them. It was associated with you, and it was going in your account. Now, if you're telling the court that you did not steal the $800 several times to total $7,200, then we can set it for jury trial, because what they're saying is
they're saying I did a whole lot of stuff.
Well, let me just tell you, the 4 transactions were done in the same manner. They say on July 19th, 2019, it was for $900. On August 2nd, 2019, it was for $2,000. On August 16th, 2019, it was $1,500. On August 30th, 2019, it was for $2,000. That's what they're saying. And they say those transactions were above what you would have been paid. And they said that it went to your account. And the person who's saying that it went to your account was Gregory Martin, who I guess is their financial person. And when he was looking at the billing, that he noticed discrepancies. And that discrepancy went to you. It went to your account. Now, if you're saying that you didn't steal this, then guess what? We can set it for a jury trial.
I don't trust people enough.
And it says here that you signed a statement saying that you overpaid yourself $7,200 and that you're going to pay it back.
How would you feel if 5 men took you from your office, locked you in the back of an office and wouldn't let you leave, wouldn't let you make a phone call, and wouldn't let you do anything until you signed a paper?
Mm-hmm. Well, what I can tell you is I wasn't there at the time, so I don't know if that occurred or not. What I do know is there's $7,200, and what I'm reading in the stipulations is that $7,200 went to your account.
Right, and I'm saying this is why I don't want to have a jury. I don't trust the judgment of people in a peers in a jury because one, they don't want to be there. Two, I don't trust that enough people would understand office. I don't trust anything. I don't trust people. I have severe trust issues. This office, that place was a madhouse. They lied about a lot of things. I mean, I don't want to get into.
Oh no, go ahead.
I know, and that's
You
what
can
I'm
tell
saying.
me.
I used to have to pay the lawyer there for the legal stuff that guy in those offices did. I'm saying they made me give my password to Greg, made me leave my laptop there, which is the number one thing you don't do. I'm saying there's a lot of things that went on at that place that I can't account for. There's a lot of stuff in there that can and can't be explained that I could explain, but I don't trust a jury to understand that. People do not think for themselves anymore. People, unless there's a headline news that tells them what to think. I've been around way too many people. I used to have thousands of employees that I used to hire and recruit myself. I'm sorry, I don't trust a jury to make I just don't. And even as the money, I was telling him I used to have to retype everything in. One of the gals, Donna, she used to sit there with me half the time. I was working 90 plus hours a week. I would be there at 3 o'clock in the morning and I wouldn't leave until 10 o'clock at night. And then some longer. I was working the management of that. I ran that whole place. I don't even know what was up or what was down at that time. I'm just saying the reason I'm doing the plea is because I need to be there at home to care for people. And I can't chance anything. I can't take any chances of going to jail or doing anything. I'm taking this plea because I need to be there for my family because they don't have anybody else. My mom has nobody else. My grandma was horrible to my mom. I mean, downright abusive to her. And that's why I took my grandma away. Like, she got sick. I was taking care of my grandma at her house and taking care of my mom at my house. The VA was trying to kill my mom during this fiasco of this last year. I'm just trying to keep things together. And I'm sick myself. I can't even clean my house. My house, when we moved, it's still not even together. I'm sorry, I just can't chance it, and I refuse to chance it. I don't trust people. I just don't. That's why I'm doing this, and I'm so sorry.
No, I mean, there's no need to apologize to me. I want to hear you because I'm the person who sets conditions and I need to see what's going on.
I'm so sorry for crying. There's a lot going on. It's been trash for the past year, and none of it's been my fault. It's just been crap, like out of my control. And I've been very emotional. And it's been since I left there, everything just went to crap. I had this surgery and it set off all the autoimmune, and my body has just been crashing. My whole life has been go, 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 eaten up by work and jobs. And now I can't do anything, and it feels like my identity is gone. I don't know, and I know they're mad because after I left, they couldn't run anything. And I ran everything for them. They didn't know how to do anything after I left. So I know that they were mad. And I'm sorry about that too.
And Your Honor, we had an opportunity.
Just hearing what's going on here.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, no
My
need to
son,
apologize.
he's a Navy nuke engineer. And he just barely got home this week. And I mean, I was worried about him for so long during all this time too. Like he was out overseas and like I don't know, he just got home today. So I'm so excited for that. I'm stuck here. I'm sorry. So I'm just like I just my husband cheated on me and then took all the money and like promised to help take care of. I'm just we were almost homeless during this time when my mom kept dying, like almost dying after like I'm just I can't I can't take any chances. I have to be there for my mom. It just she almost died like 3 times in the like two, within 4 different months. I just no one can take care of her and advocate for her like I can. I mean, it's bad when you have to bypass the VA system just to get her into a better hospital because they're standing there saying colonoscopy, colonoscopy. And I'm like, no, hematology, hematology. And guess what? This hematology she needed. I'm sorry.
No, no need to apologize. I'm just listening, trying to figure out what conditions would be appropriate for you. Is there anything else you wanted to tell me? Now is your time to talk to me.
So really, let me give her my list of meds.
All right, the list of medications, those will go to probation.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, my doctors, I used to see the same doctor way back in 2010 and 2013, and even she was writing me out of work because my body couldn't handle it. And that was even before I knew I had anything wrong. My body would work, I would work, and it would get so stressed out. And she would write me out for a week, and then I'd go to work, then it would be 2 weeks, and then 3 weeks. So this has been going on for a long time. And I have those doctor's notes, and then I've got doctor's notes from 2014, 2018, like so when I went back to her, she recommended that I try medical marijuana because unfortunately with all the conditions I have, like it twitches and Charlie horses and spasms that last for minutes that leave me like unwalkable. My legs give out, my arms start to fling, and as you can see, I get twitches. And so unfortunately, I have tried marijuana, and I know you don't say that in court because that's just not the thing you say, but I'm ashamed of it, but it has helped. So she recommended I go and get a legal license, and she recommended a place, and unfortunately they illegal advertised. They were like, yes, online it's $100. So they did the text thing, and then they said, oh no, it's 250 and 200 and 300 for this. I was like, that's false advertising, I'm not going there, and I gave up on it. So I found another place because she said I really, really need it because the medicine I've out far exceeded the max doses on everything that she can give. And so she told me to do that. So I did that on Friday, and she wrote me a note because I can't do anything. I can't work. I said I can't even clean my house. So we've got that. And then they should try to get all of my diagnosis on here from the different doctors. And I don't know what you can do with me either. I am just, I already feel like crap. Hit me with your worst. I don't know.
So here's my question. How is she paying back seven? First of all,
Because
there's an agreement of just 1 second. First of all, a part of the plea agreement is $7,200. How are you planning on paying that back?
Because I am going on Social Security soon. I know I'll be able to get that. My family has agreed to help in any way they can. And
All right, and which family members?
I've got family in Houston that's agreed to help. My son that's in the Navy, he might help, but I mean I've got 4 years to figure it out. But like I said, I was on Social Security before, so I know I'll be able to get back on it. And out of the 26 rows of disorders that I have, there's 15 of them that automatically one alone will qualify me for Social Security. So.
All right, I still don't think it's appropriate for her to be taking. I don't understand how she's able to take care of her mother when she has all of these medical issues herself. I don't understand how she's saying she's changing diapers, she's taking her to medical appointments, she is telling doctors she's being diagnosed, and she's given the diagnosis herself for her mom. I don't understand how that's taking place. And then
Because
I'm being told, I'm being told that she has all these medical conditions. She's all on all of these medications.
That's correct, Your Honor.
And she's taking care of, I guess, her son as well.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
No,
Yes.
no problem.
I have discussed this with District Attorney's office, and I also discussed this with my client to just get around everything that's going on in her life, in addition to what happened in the underlying case, and how are we going to move forward in the future. So what does happen is some of these medications do control these issues for certain times. And during those times that are being controlled, she is helping out her mother. She's trying to do the best she can with what she has. Now, she is going through a lot of a very stressful situation. She does have a mental health diagnosis, several. And right now, she's going to the doctor and having some of these issues resolved through medication. Some of them are through therapy. Some of them are through self-care. And again, these documents that she was holding earlier, which are related to the miracle marijuana and all the other diagnoses and medications, were for the benefit of the court. And I had share those with the district attorney's office. We did go back and forth to see what would be something that she would be able to do, given the fact that she does have some limitations, Your Honor. And we ask you to take that into consideration as well.
If I may interject, the problem is with autoimmune disorders and connective tissue disorders is overexerting my body, and that's the issue with like working and being outside and doing too much. So the thing is I rest, and my mom's appointments we set up staggering. We don't like, she doesn't have a lot of appointments. And my son also helps, like I said, he has mental disorders, but he can still help me like get her to the car, or roll her out, or help me get her into the wheelchair thing. And she stands for me to change her, so all I have to do is wipe her and pull her diaper up. So those few things are not as exerting as going to work and working. And the problem with working is I have nerve damage and stuff that, and I can't keep my hands up above, and I can't type anymore. I can't keep I have my arms up above my head. There's a lot of disabilities, things that impede and that sort of thing. It's overexertion with autoimmune and nerve damage. Taking care of my mother is a completely different situation than what you're talking about, full-time caring for someone. Like, I used to be a CNA, and that's completely different. I understand what you're saying, caring for a full-fledged person that is completely laying in a bed and has to be cared for 24/7, like you were a CNA in a nursing home. That is not the case with my mom.
My concern is I don't have anybody who's on probation in this court acting as a healthcare provider. Now, what do I mean by that? One of the things I mean by that is people will just have their relatives who are getting their SSI, and guess what? They go live with them and they get to receive money from being with them and taking care of them, or either they're living off that person's SSI, and that's not right.
No, that's not the case. She's been living with me. It's only just now that the circumstances have changed, and that's only due to love we have.
Going through the divorce, Your Honor. And I was appointed by this court as she was,
Before
she
when I was
qualified
pregnant.
as being indigent. And so those documents are there from the time that this case started. But to today, she's going through a lot of other personal matters that
Just
she's
arose.
just telling you.
State,
right
do you
now.
want to speak to her taking care of her mother and taking care of her son and all of these other people who are in this household? It's sounding very chaotic to the court. And I don't know how that chaos is going to translate into her being successful in probation.
But that's been my life.
I don't have any independent information regarding any of that. Listening to this, I mean, it sounds like, I don't know what to make of it, because it sounds like there's a number of different responsibilities that sound pretty hefty and serious. And then at the same time, you know, there's an argument that she's incapable of doing anything with this case. So it seems like it's hard to believe that both are possible at the same time. So we do have a concern, and we would ask maybe the probation could look into it a little bit more and make a determination. But I know that the restitution is still due. I can speak to the information that she gave about the case specifically and the facts. We brought in the complainants in this case. We actually had a conference room full of people that worked in the office with her. I feel very confident in the facts of the case, and I have no reason to believe anything was misrepresented to me. And objectively, we have money under her watch being padded into her payroll and for her putting that into her personal account. And also the wariness that she had to turn in payroll and then go back and adjust it afterwards so that it wouldn't raise flags. So there was definitely some intent behind all of this. There was a higher level of thinking and planning with it. And that is what I do.
All right. So this thing where he's telling me she worked from 3 a.m. till all hours of the night by herself.
We don't have any information of that. That's not what was relayed to me. It sounded like a normal office environment that anybody else would have generally, and that she was responsible for limited responsibilities, which would be common for her position that she had. And there was a room full of people, so I can't speak any further than what I know.
And Your Honor, I did discuss these matters with my client and the pros and cons of going to trial. And we did have extensive conversations about how to proceed. And it was her decision to come in today and take responsibility for this and go on to 4 years deferred adjudication probation.
All right, probation.
Yes, Judge.
I think you've heard everything that's going on up here.
Yes, Judge.
So what does she need? I don't know what we can do for her.
My house is not chaotic, it's calm. It just
Let's see what they have to say.
Judge.
Whenever someone's granted probation, we have to go through different assessments just on a supervision level. And I think out of one of the assessments that we are mandated to do, it could give us a little bit more information to give you clear direction on what else should be done.
Your Honor, it seems to me that
Just 1 second.
We need to do.
I'm sorry.
Just 1 second. Yes, probation.
We need to do the risk assessment.
Okay.
For a fact, and that could give us the level in which she should be supervised.
And that was what I was going to be suggesting, Your Honor. I believe that maybe perhaps that would give a better picture to the court.
Anything else, probation?
I would say that maybe I know there probably had been some competency issues, or we would ask that we do a mental health evaluation on our part to see if she would fit into that supervision as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you. This is what the court is going to do. Court is going to sentence you to 4 years deferred adjudication. There's to be restitution of $7,200 and no contact with Monticello Custom Homes LP. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular random UAs, a MIC evaluation, field visits 1 time per month until further notice, and see if probation can check on the occupants of the home and determine how many occupants are actually in the home. And then do the risk assessment for supervision. There's to be no employment related to accounting or any type of money changing hands. You're not allowed to be a cashier. You're not allowed to work with money at all. Do you understand?
I can't wait to
understand.
Yes, ma'am.
There's to be proof of employment or SSI. Please put on your listening ears. Listen to what I'm saying. There's to be proof of employment or SSI within 45 days. And again, no employment as a home health care provider with minors or any employment as previously stated relating to accounting, cashier jobs, any job that's related to exchanging monies where she's in a position to handle funds. There's to be 100 hours of community service restitution. If for some reason she's unable to do the community service hours, she'll need to provide a letter or proof from a doctor that she can't do any type of community service hours. And there's going to be the theft course. And there's a $2,000 fine, and that will be probated. Probation, is there anything else she needs? Okay. Is there anything else you need from the court?
No, ma'am.
All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We can go off the record. In this court, to be successful on probation, communication is key. If there are any issues, let your probation officer know. If you feel as though the probation officer is not addressing those issues, you can always come back to court. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Anything else you need?
No, ma'am.
All right. Make sure you give those documentation and sign a release of medical information for probation. Okay. All right. Thank you.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes.
Judge, just said that my client was and is being accused of buying certain things and selling the flea market. Says he was making a living. It's going to be difficult for him to pay the fine, being as that he's not going to the flea markets and not going to be doing anything like that anymore. So we'd ask the court to probate some of the fine, and he's not working anymore. Is that correct, Mr. Gardner?
Disabled.
So he's not working anymore. So any financial obligations are going to be a problem for him going forward.
All right. So how long have you been disabled?
Oh, like 20 years.
All right, but he still was able to do this, even though you were disabled, you were still able to commit this offense?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And then it says in the stipulations that you were telling the person how to steal. Oh, it says during the transactions, S1 provided detective with advice on how to steal items in higher volume and made requests for specific items.
We would agree, Judge. He did make, according to the evidence, he made requests for specific items. I would say that it's not how, but he requested which items to steal. So instead of the how, would be the what. That we admit to that, and that is contained in the police report. Yes. That is my client's understanding.
Yes. All right. You're the reason that when people go to the store, that's why everything is behind lock and key. That's a problem, that everything is behind lock and key. You understand?
Yes, yeah.
And it's because of you, because you're selling stolen merchandise. So how are you supporting yourself?
Social Security, disability.
All right, the court is going to sentence you to $500 fine. That'll be probated 3 years, deferred adjudication. Is there a restitution to Sam's Club or no?
No.
All right. There's to be no contact. Hear me clearly. No contact with Sam's Club or Walmart. Proof of employment or Social Security within 30 days. If you don't provide that, you're going to need to work, and there's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be regular random UAs. I don't know if the theft course will help you, but theft course. And he needs to do the theft course with, I think Cats has a theft course. He needs to do the theft course with Cats. And that's theft course 1 and 2. And there's to be 100 hours of community service restitution. Probation, is there anything else? Thank you. Field visits 1 time per month until further notice. All right, is there anything else you need from the court?
No, Your Honor, that's it.
All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, in this court, to be successful in probation, communication is key. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Your Honor.
You're welcome. Do better.
Oh, yeah.
Any first, bro?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. I know that my client is, she does have a background, Your Honor, as you've seen. However, there have been some changes to her life, Your Honor. She's had a brain tumor, I believe, and because she had surgery on that, and because of that, she's lost some feeling in her legs, and I believe that, Your Honor, she just wants to get her life back on track, and also, Your Honor, too, she being with her physical problems, she really doesn't want to go to jail. The last time she was in jail, she fell and she had problems because she can't have a walker with her. It's, you know, obviously a security. So I've spoken with her about the importance of complying with probation, and I believe she understands that she has to be very careful and do what's required of her. And additionally, Your Honor, should you grant her probation, I would ask you to please consider that she's not doing very well financially. Her husband does work sporadically, and she's applied for disability. It hasn't come in yet. It's pending. And she has some financial problems, Your Honor. Plus, additionally, with the 200 hours community service, Your Honor, she's happy to do community service. However, she's somewhat limited physically due to the problem she has with her legs, Your Honor. And yes, and is there anything you would like to add, Marie?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor. When I was waiting for my surgery, for my brain tumor surgery, I was paralyzed, and I have to learn to walk and everything again. I still have limited feeling in my left leg, so I have like standing limitations. Some days are worse than others, but I do you know, my guilt, and I know I was wrong, and you know.
So let me ask you this: when did these medical issues occur? What year?
It was 2019, but I was in a car wreck after that, which made it worse.
All right, so 2019, you had these injuries, and then you were in a car wreck when?
I think it was 2.5 years after that. It was beginning of 2023.
All right.
2023.
So
it's not, I realized what I did was wrong. There was not any validation for it other than the situation I was in. My mother was her caregiver. She passed away. She had pancreatic cancer, and we lost our house. My husband and I, we had, you know, what it is, and that's why I was stealing to survive.
all All right, so
It's not okay.
you've been stealing before as well. So
I have
all
not.
of these thefts are for you to survive.
No, ma'am. No, no, ma'am, not at all. These last two right here, that's was for me to survive. And last time.
Okay, you didn't complete your sentence. You said these last two right
The
here.
last two were for me to survive. I'm sorry, I did. Not being loud enough or clear, but the last two were for survival, not for any other reason. But I now know that I active in the church. I've changed my life. I'm not doing these things anymore, nor do I intend to do these things anymore. I realize.
And if you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be?
I'm negative. I'm not on drugs.
All right,
Here's a prescription medication.
I was prescription. I was just in the hospital 2 weeks ago. I was hospitalized for 9 days. Sorry, 8 days. I have cellulitis in the leg that I had the paralysis in. And you can still see my leg.
Let me explain to you where I'm coming from.
Yes, ma'am.
You had this major incident in 2019.
Correct.
And that didn't stop you from stealing. It appears from what I'm looking at, and this is just your history, you steal. That's your occupation, you steal. You go into places and you steal. And there's none of this, I'm stealing to survive, because what you were stealing was not survival products. You're just stealing. That's your occupation. And now you're coming to me for sympathy because you have all of these issues. But if you look at your criminal history, you were stealing before 2019. And then now you say you're active with the church. And I always say, you know, people come to the Lord whenever they come to the Lord, and you meet people where they are. But even after you had this epiphany, what should have been an epiphany for you, with all this that happened, you just continued to steal.
That was you're right, Your Honor. There's not an excuse. I don't have an excuse for any of it. It's not okay. I am remorseful for my actions, and you know, I have to complete whatever the court grants me, and I understand I was wrong. I'm like asking the court to please to show me some mercy, and I woke up in this community service without a doubt successfully. I know that. I'm not. It's not my occupation any longer. I'm embarrassed and ashamed of my actions.
Who lives in the home with you?
I live with my husband, and we live with my cousin and her husband.
And how many children are in that home?
0. I have an adult child. She lives in Corpus Christi.
So you're saying there are no minors in your home?
No minors. My husband's children are all grown as well. So my daughter's 32 years old.
All right. Anything else?
Your Honor, like I said, I did speak with, well, Your Honor, I would ask that you please grant us community supervision. And the thing is, Your Honor, I did suggest to my client if she did want to plea bargain, she may want to just take jail time. But you know, she convinced me that she can make the probation, and I think that being more beneficial for her. Plus, I think it would be detrimental with her health to do jail time. And I think she had a rough time when she was in jail last time on this charge, and I don't think she ever wants to be there again, Your Honor.
All right, and cause number 2024 CR 007342, the court is going to find you guilty, sentence you to 2 years in the state jail facility, suspended and probated for 4 years. There's a $2,000 fine that'll be probated, regular reporting by Zoom or in person, 200 hours of community service restitution, no contact with Cavender's store. This will run concurrent with 2024 CR 006932. CATS 1 and 2 theft course, field visits 1 time per month for 6 months, regular random UAs. And you'll need to provide a prescription of all the medications that you're taking to probation. Do you understand?
Sure. Thank you very much.
Probation, is there anything else in that cause number?
Does it want any type of proof of they don't need? No? Okay. Nothing else, sir.
All right. And in cause number 2024 CR 006932, court will find you guilty. Court will sentence you to 2 years in the state jail facility, suspended and probated for 4 years. There's a $2,000 fine that will be probated, regular reporting by Zoom or in person, 200 hours of community service restitution, no contact with Bell's store, concurrent with 2024 CR 007342, CATS 1 and 2 theft course, field visits 1 time per month for 6 months. And I'm sorry, and each cause number proof of employment or SSI within 60 days, no employment as a home health care provider.
Yes, Your Honor.
Anyone want to say why I should follow this plea bargaining agreement?
I can speak briefly on that, Your Honor. I think the stipulations, so the way that she came about, Ms. Perez came about to have the child was kind of strange to begin with. She, in my opinion, was, I think, saw these 2 children that were on the streets. Her and her partner tried to help take them in. And then obviously there was an incident that Ms. Perez describes a week prior to this where, again, she should have taken the girl in for medical treatment immediately. And then obviously she fell from the stairs.
Let's backtrack a little bit, because it says in the stipulations that there were 2 people outside of the store. She says she's being a good Samaritan. So she takes them both back to her apartment. And then she tells one of them, I can no longer keep you here. You need to leave. But I'll keep the complainant.
Yes, her and her partner. So her partner ended up, I believe, keeping the younger boy, and she kept the younger girl at the apartment. And
is this younger boy currently alive?
Yes,
yeah,
Your Honor.
yes.
And where is he?
As CPS has removed him, I believe he's with other family.
Okay.
The incident described that is the leads to this tragedy. Obviously, Yvonne describes it as she's playing. Obviously, the kid shouldn't be playing on the stairs. We know that. She hits her head and her back. She seems like she's okay as far as checking on her. She's eating while she's
why would she pinching her as a sign of as punishment? Because that's what it says in the steps, that she would pinch her.
Yes, sir.
Why?
It wasn't like I'm pitching her, just kind of like a grab, like just to prompt
bruises.
her. I'm sorry.
It said it left bruises.
I didn't realize it was gonna leave a bruise. I didn't intentionally do it to like leave that bruise. The little girl, when my daughter was,
and so I think she's describing as, yes, she again is admitting to that. It doesn't matter whether you think it's going to leave a bruise or not leave a bruise. I think we would agree. And then as far as her actions, she seemed like she was okay. And then the next morning, obviously she's not, and then drops her off at the hospital. And then obviously does another bad thing, just leaves her and then leaves. She does come back. She does sit down with the police. She does talk to them, tell them everything that's going on and what happened. Obviously, at that point, it's too late. But I can speak to Ms. Perez from the day I've been with her for 20 months or so, from the day I've met her until today. Every time I talk to her, she's upset. And it's not because of so much of her situation, it's because of what happened. And she knows that she did wrong. She knows she wishes she could go back in time and change all of that. And she says that every time I talk to her. And so,
like, maybe if somebody is offering you a child, maybe calling the police.
Yes, going that far back. It's not one mistake. It's things that happen over and over. And again,
So was the child healthy when she received the child?
Was
the child healthy when you received the child?
The first one is Joel.
No, I'm talking about the child that is deceased. Was that child healthy when you received the child?
Healthy in a sense. I mean, she was skinny. She was skinny.
Did she have all her hair?
Did she have all her what?
Hair.
Her hair?
On her head.
Yes, Your Honor. I mean, only like patches, like not patches, but like her hair was thin. Her hair wasn't thick. It was thin. Her hair was thin. And she came when I picked her up when Cassandra told me to go, and when we went to go pick her up, she had like a dirty little outfit. I bought her clothes. Like, I mean, there's a lot of things that I should have done and I didn't do when she first arrived at our home. I should have taken her to get a welfare check. I should have done, and I didn't. I just
well, and like Your Honor said, I mean, the initial thing would be to contact authorities to go through the proper channels. I think CPS was contacted prior to this and made contact with Ms. Pettis, so they were aware of the situation. But again,
aware of what situation?
That the girl was staying with Ms. Pettis. But
was that before or after the child was taken to the hospital?
Before.
So Child Protective Services was aware that somebody off the street gave her a child, and she picked up the phone and called Child Protective Services and said,
no, Ms. Pettis didn't. They contacted her. So again, I agree with the court. She should have done a lot of different things.
Well, I mean, I'm just unpacking things a little bit.
So the mother has extensive history with CPS and had different children taken away. So I think CPS was checking into the whereabouts of Ronnie and Howell.
All right.
Was that. Yeah.
So that's how CPS found out that the child was in her care.
Yes.
And CPS did nothing.
Parent.
Okay. I mean, CPS workers sometimes, well, many CPS workers are overworked and underpaid, but I'm wondering why would a CPS worker, and this is just a side note, why a CPS worker would leave a child with somebody that a mother just gave to that's a complete stranger. I guess that's something else that needs to be addressed.
Yes, and like I said, the circumstance behind it are, to put it, I guess, strange, and that's one of the things that I found strange as well, to, I guess, put it nicely. But
so why am I following this plea?
Your Honor, at this point, the state, after much back and forth, we recommended this plea due to what is actually being charged, and what we can prove. It becomes a question of whether or not we can prove that she did not seek adequate medical attention in terms of she has training as an LVN and attempted to keep an eye on the child at home. And it becomes whether or not we would be able to prove that she failed to do so due to how it is charged, Your Honor. And so at this point, we do feel 18 years for what she's charged with is appropriate.
All right. And does she have a license as an LVN? I'm assuming
she did in the past.
She did in the past, and then I needed to renew it because I went.
Is that right?
And then I started going to school to EC. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. It's expired.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. As previously stated, the court is finding you guilty. Court is going to sentence you to 8 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's to be no contact with minors. There's to be.
Judge, did you say 8 or 18?
18.
Okay.
Yeah. Did I say 18?
Yes. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
It's okay. No. Matt and I are done this morning.
All right. 18. All right. 18 years in the prison, credit for any time served. There's to be no contact with minors, and there's to be no employment in the future with minors or vulnerable persons. Is there anything else with regards to sentencing?
Not sentencing. We do have victim impact, Your Honor.
All right. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement? Because I followed your plea bargain agreement? And because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing. Whether you had your LVN license or not, I saw where you took your dog to the groomers. When a child is sick, you take a child to the doctor.
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't know why. Sometimes people have more love for their animals than they have for little children. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you say there's a victim impact statement? And who is